All right, hey everyone. So what we're going to be doing right now is we're going to be marking where the radiant heat lines are in the floor. So before the slab was poured, what we did is after I laid all the radiant PEX lines, I went on my plans and I marked where, it's kind of messy, but I marked along every single wall where the wall is going to intersect a PEX line. These PEX lines are, some of them are like a ½ inch, some of them are 2 inches below the concrete, so it varies quite a bit. But regardless, we're using 7-inch bolt anchors to anchor through the concrete. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a string along on the floor where each wall is going to be, and then we're going to go and reference these plans, and I'm going to paint with a blue spray paint can where every single PEX line would be intersecting that wall. And so when we go to anchor the walls, we just know how to drill those spots. So what we did for the roof top plate is we used one 2x6, and that 2x6 is along the outside of the stone wall, and that's anchored into the stone using 7-inch long wedge anchors. These things. So these are 7-inch by 1.5-inch wedge anchors. That's how the top plate is anchored in. And there's another thing that needs to be, that it kind of arises when you have really thick walls like this. If you put your top plate on the outside of the wall and you frame your roof up, you can imagine if your roof's like this, you're going to have a gap between where the inside of your wall is and where the roof is. So that's what happens if you frame it to the outside of your walls. The other option is to do sort of a thing where you frame a top plate to the inside of your walls. So when you're inside, it looks like the roof comes all the way down and meets the interior wall. And then have another roof, like maybe another set of 2x8s that go to the outside. So on the outside, your pitch is actually a little bit shallower than the pitch on the inside. Almost like what you'd have with the scissor truss. But it'd be your vaulted ceiling would essentially kind of go like that on the sides. We aren't doing that. We just put the top plate to the outside, and then I'm going to have to build a little pony wall on the inside. It's going to be really small, but I'm going to have to build a little pony wall to fill that space. So let me take the camera up there, and we'll talk about how the plate works and how the roof works. So as you can see, the top plate is just a 2x6. And it's bolted into the stone. And then on the sides of the house, you can see that they've actually taken 2 more 2x6s and stacked them up. So the reason why is because on the side of our house, these attic trusses are going to be above the bedrooms. These are just 2x8s. But what we're going to be doing is in the middle where we're standing, right where it's not framed out right now, these are going to be big timber beams. These are 4x8 Douglas fir is what they're going to be. And they're actually going to be a little bit lower. You can imagine that the beams are actually going to be a little bit lower. And the reason why is because we're going to put the beams down lower. You can imagine maybe it'd come up to here. And then on top of that, we're going to put tongue and groove. So when you look on the ceiling in the house, you'll see your beams, and behind the beams will be your tongue and groove. And then we're going to spray the backside of the tongue and groove with foam, and then we'll put a spacer, and then we'll put the decking. And the decking, when we do all that, it will be level with the top of this 2x8. So then it will be level all the way across. But the vaulted ceiling is inset, and that gives us room to put our insulation. So how are we connecting? You can see that basically this top plate of the walls, it's just nailed into this 2x6 top plate. And then what we'll be doing as well, and they haven't done it, and I'm gonna have to talk and see if I'm gonna do it or how my framers do it. But I'm thinking about running. We need to run one more 2x6 down here, and then it's gonna have to have some wedges behind it because the wall is uneven. But we'll run the 2x6 down. We'll put wedges behind, and then, or we'll put spacers behind, and I'm gonna drive just a few anchors into the stone, and that will kind of, secure the wall in this way. And then I'm gonna come through. I'm gonna mortar behind all the spaces behind that 2x6, and then we'll put our sheetrock up to it. So we wouldn't be able to just leave this without having a 2x6 here, because if you just hang out sheetrock this far and there's nothing for it to anchor to, you could just push it in and break it or something. So we are going to put a 2x6 there. It's just not there right now. Another thing I want to talk about, and this is just the way we did it, and we could have probably done it differently, like notched the wood or something like that. But you can see where these 2x8s are sitting on top of the 2x6 top plate there. There's a 1.5 inch gap between the top of the stone wall and the there's a 1.5 inch gap between the top of the stone wall and the bottom of the 2x8 there. So if I was just to throw some sheetrock on the bottom of these 2x8s, we'd have an 1.5 inch gap of space above the stone wall. So I'm gonna have to figure out what to do there. I might put in another 2x8, screw it in, or do something to fill that space. But that's just something I can do a little bit later. So we're doing all 2x6 walls. All the studs are 2x6. What we're looking at right now, these are the two kids' bathrooms. These are the two kids' bedrooms, and then we have the bathroom in between. So each bedroom is about 11.5 by, I think, 10 or 10.5. So they're good sized rooms. They're not huge, but I think they're big enough for kids. So we have two rooms like this, and then we have the kids' bathroom in between. You can see this door is really tall. So I'll be talking about doors in a little bit. I'm still restoring them right now, but you can see basically every door opened in this house is a little bit different. You can see these openings here with the header are shorter than this opening here, and it's going to be the same because all our doors are vintage and they're all kind of different sizes. And this one, actually, the reason why it's so tall is because I'm going to be building a transom. I'm going to be putting a transom up there. And for those who don't know what a transom is, those are like in those old Victorian homes. They would have a window above the door, and it would have, it would kind of, flip out, so it would allow airflow through the house, even when the doors are closed. It's just kind of an old, cool Victorian thing that they used to do in old houses, and I wanted to do it here. So we have three transoms in this house. We didn't want to put transoms in the bedrooms because at night, if my wife and I are up in the living room, we don't want to have the light shining in through the transom into the kids' room. So those are just going to be normal doors. Those are going to be, they're big oak doors that we bought that are pretty old. So we'll be talking about those. This is the bathroom. There's not much to see here yet. We still have yet to frame out the opening for the tub. But we're just doing a standard tub. Typically, a tub opening is 60.25 long by between 30 and 32 inches deep. So I'm going to do 32 inches deep. And then this is going to be just a little space for a really skinny cabinet, or I might do some built-in shelves for towels. The toilet is right in front of the window, which is kind of fun, but I have to put some blinds there or something. Okay, and then this is the big room. Kind of get an idea for what it's going to be. It's 26 27 feet 3 inches by 30 feet 6 inches. It works out to be a little over, I think it's around 830, or I have to do the math, but it's around 830 or so square feet for the main room. This is going to be where the kids, or where the master bedroom, master bath, and other things are. So here, this is what we're starting to frame out for the entry. You can see this is a really tall door. This one doesn't have a transom. This door actually just turns out to be almost a 10-foot tall door that we got. We have 2 10-foot tall doors, one for our pantry and one for our master closet. So this is the pantry. This over here is going to be the laundry room. We have all of my stuff coming in here. So these are all the water lines that are going to go to various places in the house. These 2 pipes here are the water lines that come into the house. One will be well water and the other will be rainwater. They'll all hook into here and go where they need to go. And then in here we'll have the washer and dryer machine. And then I'm thinking about putting an old cast iron high back sink on the wall for if any clothes need to be hand washed or that sort of thing. So that's going to be in here. And let's walk around. These are the holes I drilled. So we have 4 holes in the walls. This is for a hose bib here. So this is going to be an inside and interior wall. And then we have another one on the back side over there by the bathroom. There's a hose bib. And there's another hole for the propane. The propane's and then we have one more that's framed behind a wall now, but that's going to be for another hose bib on the back side of the house. So we have 3 exterior hose bibs and 1 propane. So those are the stuff that's coming into the house at the lower level. This is going to be the master bathroom. So this door I framed out for a transom. It's a little bit of a shorter door. It's about 78 inches tall. And then the space above it will be a transom. Maybe. I'll see. I might end up putting the header lower if we don't want a transom in our bathroom. But the way I framed it is so we can add that. Then this is coming into the master bathroom. So you can see that all the radiant PEX flooring is coming through this wall here. It's going to shoot up into the attic where the hot water heater is. But this from this wall to here will be our vanity. So we'll have 2 sinks. This is the master drain. And then our water lines are going to come over through this wall, going to loop up and come down, and those are going to be the hot and cold water lines for the sink. This is the master closet. So again, this is like that 10-foot tall door. It's just one giant door. They're really unique doors. We've got them at an antique store, and we'll be showing those in the next couple episodes. But this is the master closet. It's pretty small. It's about 5.5 feet by 5.5 feet, but it's pretty good for the size it is. We managed to fit a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a master closet into 1,576 square feet, which I think is pretty efficient. And then this is the master shower that I've talked about. Right now we're on the west side of the house, and there's a few things I'll talk about over here. So one thing is, as you can see, the stone, we framed it up, but it's just a straight wall. We only framed it up to 10 feet tall. But the gable ends, we weren't able to do the big stones on those gable ends just because those big stones are really hard to cut at an angle. So what we're going to do is we're framing it out right now, and these are going to be fascia stones. So there's 2 sizes. These are 6 inches by 4 inches, and these over here are 8 inches by 4 inches thick, and then the lengths vary. But these are going to be, what's going to happen is the way the roof is being framed is we put the base plate back in such a way that we have a 5-inch ledge at the top. And what that 5-inch ledge is for these stones. So once the framing is done, we're putting a 1/2-inch OSB on the gable ends, and then this is going to be framed, or this stone is going to go over the top of that OSB. So it's going to look, like it's stone all the way up, even though the gable ends are framed out. That's really the only way I can think of doing it. These at an angle. Or another thing we thought about was putting some big ones and kind of building them up in the middle, and then the edges that would be like a stair step, we would fill those in with stone. But we opted for just doing framing on the side. So we have a porch on the front. The porch is 12 feet deep. It's a big porch. And we have these stairs on the side. So this is kind of where we're standing right now. This is going to be where we park. And you can kind of imagine we pull in and the driveway's going to loop down here and then go back down around these trees. So right now is kind of where we're parking and unloading groceries and stuff. So we put this staircase on the side. That's one thing. These are just standard 12-inch deep steps. The way I decided to do the steps in the front was, you can see it's kind of, they're 18 inches deep. Each step is 18 inches deep. And they kind of have this wraparound thing. So each step kind of wraps around in it. It's more symmetrical. The whole front of the house is going to be symmetrical. And so I kind of wanted to keep that idea. And I think it looks cool having the stairs kind of point up towards the front door. So what we'll be doing this week is I'll be getting all the timbers for the roof. You can see that half of the roof right now is framed, and then half of it's not. The middle part is not. We are getting our timbers. They were supposed to come in, but there's a mix-up with the ordering, so they're on their way. And what I'll be doing is the framing crew will be putting up the beams, and then my job will be, when we get, what we're doing on the front porch is we're doing 6x6 posts, and I'm going to be making a router jig for making all the fluting. So I'm going to make fluted columns, and then I'm going to route them and make them look a little bit fancy, so I'll be talking about that. So I have a few jigs I'll be making this weekend before the lumber arrives. Originally on the back side we had planned full length porches, which we might still do, but what we're doing for now is we're doing a 6x6 pad on the back, because we're trying to stay in budget, semi in budget. So if we finish this and we have more money left over, you know, it's still halfway. We're probably, you know, less than halfway through the build right now, and so it's hard to tell. It's hard to gauge, you know, how we're going to be towards the end. So if we get to the end and we are able to do the porches, then we'll add on porches, and we'll kind of just pour up to this pad. So as we're making our way around the side, I'll talk about one other thing as we go past it. You can see all these bricks. So what we're doing on the interior floors is we're going to be doing a herringbone style brick. Those are those bricks that kind of have that chevron type pattern. So these are the bricks that we're using. They're called Old Fredericksburg bricks. That's just like the style of brick that they're called. You know, these are real bricks. They're ones that would normally be like on the fascia of a building, so they have these holes in them that would, you know, the cement would go through with a mortar. Well, we're going to be turning these on their side, and they're going to be used for the flooring. So they're going to kind of go like this, and kind of build it up that way. So we have, I think, 11 pallets of these bricks. We opted for the thick brick because thin brick is about 3 times the price. And we were able to do thick brick in our house, so we thought we might as well. The only downside I can see to using this thick brick right now is our floors are radiant, but they have these air holes in them. So I think it's a little bit longer for the heat to transfer through the brick once we turn on the radiant floors. But that's the only downside I can see to that.